I started to get into the topic because you know this is a very, very big topic. So go ahead, coming into the video, hit that like button, and I'm going to try to address all the comments that I got in the previous video, and we're just going to keep it running like that, okay? So in the last video, we were talking mainly about what it's like being black dealing with the police in Spain. So this is very good information to have, but I'm sure you want to know what's it like just everyday life dealing with people, daily situations. How do people interact with you? These kind of things. So that's what this video is going to be about. So overall, I would say first thing, coming to Spain is the language. Now, if you don't know the language, it's really going to change what your perception is of whether a situation that happened to you is, a racial kind of a thing, or if it's a cultural kind of a thing. So, a lot of times it's a very thin line. And if you don't know the culture, you won't be able to really place it. And you might automatically go to, oh, this is racist, when it's not. It might just be a cultural thing. Sometimes it can be a little bit of both, but having the language really opens things up for you. I'm going to tell you that right now. So if you can speak Spanish and you can see how people relate between one another, you'll know how when they're relating to you, it's basically the same kind of a thing most of the time. So one thing about Spanish culture is it's very informal in many ways. So when people are talking in the street, a friend to a friend is very accepted to, call somebody who's a little bit chubby, you know what I'm saying? They ate a little bit, a couple cakes or something, had a couple pies, they stomach bulging, to call them like el gordo, like the fat guy. You can say this in Spanish and it's perfectly fine. If you kind of know the guy, you're a coworker or something, this would be acceptable. Now in America in 2019, if you said that to somebody at work who's kind of chubby, putting on some pounds, you call him el gordo, he might feel some kind of way about that. He might take it personally. Maybe 40 years ago in America, it wasn't like that. You could be like, hey, fatso, or something like that. I think I've seen that on TV and it was cool, back in the day. I wasn't around then, but I'm thinking it was cool back then. But now the way our culture's gotten, we really, we don't have that kind of tolerance to just play around like that. So that's not the only example. It goes beyond just, the fat guy. It could be, the skinny guy, like el flaco or la flaca, or, somebody has blonde hair, they call them el rubio, like the blondie or whatever. But, it can also go to race. So a term you might hear is, there's different ways to call somebody who looks like me, somebody with African origins, somewhere. They can call you moreno, which is, basically, it just means dark skin, more or less, and like a tan skin and dark hair, moreno. They can call you negro. You can hear that, which, negro is the color black. And also, like somebody from Africa, negro. There's that. And, there's other terms too, like negrito, which, depends on the context. It might be a racist thing, or it might be, just a buddy kind of a thing. Just like in America, we have the word nigga, that you could say that with your boys, your homies or something like that. But if somebody randomly on the street said, hey, what's up? You'd be like, hold up. You know what I'm saying? It would be out of place and inappropriate. And that culturally, that racially. But somebody coming from a different country, they may not have that context. They may not have that background. So it's kind of the same thing in some situations in Spain. And it's going to be even worse if you don't know the language, because certain things they say you might take as offensive. There's so many different little subtleties, and it can change from region to region because, like I said in the other video, Spain is very big. It's hard to super generalize it because in Spain, there's like 4 different official languages in different regions, maybe more than that. I'm not going to get into that, but yeah. So things vary throughout Spain, but this is a very general video. So I'll say when we divide things into the cultural and the racial thing. So one thing that is controversial is blackface. So I think somebody in one of the last videos, they made a comment and they said, hey, Spain can't be that great. Check out this video. And it was a video of, some people with their face painted black in Spain. It was not some people, it was hundreds of people in Spain with their face painted black. like the big lips, like the minstrel show type of a thing. And for somebody from America and somebody from most countries who's black, this is very offensive, very, very offensive, because it goes back to the minstrel show tradition in America where white performers would dress up like this and make fun of blacks and act like they're lazy, act like they're stupid or whatever, just very stereotypical things, and everybody would have a good laugh at the black people. And this reinforced this stereotype with people dressing up like this, trying to pretend like they're black and acting out these stereotypes. So anyway, in Spain, this minstrel tradition really isn't there, and that's not what the blackface is. The blackface comes from the Christmas tradition. So in Spain, they are a Catholic country, and so they celebrate more, the three kings from the Bible, the three wise men. They came to baby Jesus. They all brought gifts, like the frankincense, the myrrh, all that stuff. So anyway, they focus on that more than they do Christmas, Santa Claus and all that kind of stuff. So I think it's January 6th. Anyway, first week of January, they have a big celebration where the three kings come down, and they give out candy, they give out toys and things like this to children. And those are the ones who put the toys and stuff under your tree. This is the Spanish tradition. Okay, so traditionally, one of the kings is white, one of them is kind of like a Middle Eastern guy, and then one of the kings has always been an African, like a very dark-skinned African. Not like a, mulatto or something. He's a dark-skinned black man. So anyway, because Spain has not had black people in any number before, I would say, like the 90s, for many, many years, I guess centuries, they've always kind of painted their faces black to represent this black king, to represent him. Not to make fun of him, not to say, he's a slave or anything like that. They paint their face black, just for that day to be like, okay, I'm that black king. I'm giving gifts to the baby Jesus and, here's some candy, whatever. So this tradition, I would put this into the cultural thing and not into the racist thing. Now, hold up. I'm not like justifying what they're doing. I'm not giving them thumbs up saying it's cool. I'm not co-signing it or anything like that. I'm saying when they do it, they're not doing it with bad intent. It can be ignorant, but I don't think they're doing it out of racism. That's not how I see it. Anyway, if you're coming to Spain, it's not a big deal. This is not something you're going to see every Friday, every Saturday, every Sunday. This is something that they pretty much only do one day out of the year. And this is in January, like I told you, that first week. And it's not even everywhere. There's one town that does it, and it's somewhere in the south of Spain. I think it's in Alicante or somewhere around there. And that's where the tradition is big. That's where that video links to. And that is pretty much it. So in most cities in Spain now, like if you go to Madrid or Barcelona or something, when they represent this king, they use a real African, because now there are many Africans in Spain. So this is a good thing. This is progress. This is a chance, for Africans to be part of mainstream Spanish culture. And there's been many articles written about this. I think New York Times just did one recently talking about how this tradition is helping bridge the gap between these two communities. So going back to the topic of, why this happens, because like I said, there haven't been black people in Spain previously to do this, to actually have a real black man in many of these little towns and places to portray this king. So instead of, just pretending like the king wasn't there, they just painted their face. I'm not saying it's cool, but I'm just explaining why they did. During your day-to-day life, I would say 65% of Spanish people are really about diversity. They're used to embracing people from different cultures, not only black people, that are Muslim, that come from Morocco. There's lots and lots of people from Muslim countries. Like I said, Morocco is a big one. Romania, there's a lot of Romanians here in Spain. Latin America, you've got a lot of people from Ecuador, Peru, Bolivia, Colombia, Dominican Republic, all over Spain, but you're really going to see them concentrated in the big cities like Madrid and Barcelona. You'll see restaurants from everywhere, so you'll never be hungry if you want to try like all kind of cuisine from all over the world. go to one of the big Spanish cities and you'll be able to find Dominican food. You'll be able to find Senegalese food, all kind of stuff. So Spain is very diverse in the big cities. So going forward in the next video, I'm going to talk about like the housing situation. I'm going to break that one down because I got somebody requesting that. And I didn't want to put that all in one video because that kind of deserves its own thing because, you know, race and housing kind of tie in together here in Spain. So I'm going to attack that from one angle. And then somebody asked about the dating. So I'm going to do a video just 100% focused on how are Spanish women, what is it like being a black man here, and, you know, how is it dating, living in Spain. So, you know, go ahead, hit the like button if you haven't already. Appreciate you watching, and leave comments below and I will get to them as I can in the next video.